raad en saam, met lyding en hoop, verdriet en saam staan jy sterk. Jy is altyd daar. Dit wat ons doen, ons liefdes, ons vreugdes, ons plekke, ons thuisdes, tot daar waar ons reis, jy is daar. Afrikaans is ons wese, dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Al verander straatname, al word helde laat val, ons is steeds deur ons adem, ons kultuur, ons verhaal, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese, dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Ons is daarmee gebore, die taal waarvoor ons staan, dit vloei deur ons are, ons kinders praat het saam, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese, dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, en Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir my mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense.
My neighbor said, try manure on my strawberries. Well, I'm going to go back to whipped cream, not manure. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down.
Alright, here we are, folks.
Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in us, they know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise, you know that we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Welcome back to the program, folks. It is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Just a little over a week away from South Africa's potentially momentous elections on the 29th of May this year. Breaking news, a Democratic Alliance stalwart and longtime member, James Selfin, has passed away at the age of 68. In no doubt surprising news for the Democratic Alliance. We'll cover that story here shortly. Additionally, programming announcement Friday morning, South African time, which means 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be doing this. I will have the leader of the Inkatha Freedom Party, Valenkosi Hlabisa, will be on my program once again. I'm looking forward to doing the interview, but I will be up late for that one. So if you want to catch Hlabisa, it'll be a morning interview. You can always catch it after the fact, but thank you for that. And that, I think, will probably be the last leader of any political party I'll be able to get on. I did ask for the Open Humanity Movement, or whatever they're called, of Lauren Bernardo. Sent an email yesterday, but I haven't heard back from them. So anyway, there you have it. That's a very small party. I'm really not sure what they think they're up to, but I thought I'd give them a chance to come on here. I did see they were on Penul recently. So anyway, let me say hello to everybody in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Val Cooper's here, Chris Ehlers, Nick Groves, Brett Sessoms. Hey, Brett, how are you doing? And Teresa, Pierre Orban, all before the hour started. Hey, look, it's the brains behind the operation. Paulie is in. How's it going, Paulie? Hester's here. Ken says winter arrived in Cape Town. Well, great. Then I can come back to South Africa if winter's there. It's my time of year. Ants is in. Always good to see Ants. We are missing one of our viewers whom I visited, was not in poor health when I was there last time, and I haven't seen him on for a few months. I'm going to have to look and make sure he's okay. I went looking through my WhatsApp, and I didn't see his account in there anymore. I hope nothing untoward happened. He was in poor shape. That's the gentleman who gave me the train book and so kindly paid for a couple of my hotel stays. Very generous of him. Anyway, yeah, so Eric is here. Ants. Who else we got? Janet Lydian from South Africa. I haven't seen Janet for a while. Joking Atheist is back, and he mentions the Democratic Alliance. James Self has passed away. Chris Ehlers is back. Nick Groves, I already said that. Patrick's here. Joe Neiman, welcome to you. Chris Wanapole. Patrick Vianello, welcome back. And Sue Walsh is here. Marilyn Brokenshaw. Hey, Marilyn. Winter in Cape Town, climate change. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, it's my favorite time to come. Actually, is not now. It's actually the change in August, September. That's the best time to go to South Africa. It's absolutely a fantastic time. But this is good stuff. Sweater weather, I love it. Yep. Also, it deters the thieves. They're cold. They won't go out. No, not Open Society, Open Humanity Movement. It's a political party in South Africa. I think that's the name of it, OHM, something like that. Let me see what they're called. I sent them a message yesterday looking to talk to them. They were in Penul. I find it interesting all these people patting each other on the... What's going on here? That's locked up. Okay. All these people... this thing is locked up. God bless it. All right, I got to go here. So, browser got frozen there. Let me see who I sent it to. Nope, I thought maybe I had a response here. It's the Open... I thought it was Open Humanity Movement. Oh, the Organic Humanity Movement. Sorry, the Organic Humanity Movement. Sorry about that. Misspoke. And Lauren Bernardo. Yeah. So one of my viewers sent that to me, and I checked it out. So Paulie said exams are going on. Okay. Busy with 3 university subs for a degree in fire technology and fire science. All right. Well, congratulations. Good luck there. Fingers crossed for you, Paulie, as well. And, yeah, waste of time, says Ken. Well, most of these political parties are a waste of time. We'll see what happens here. Just days before the election now. So there's no October surprise in South Africa. It'll be a May surprise. Pyrometallurgy. No, he's not looking for that. Anyway, all right. Well, folks, let's go ahead and get to the news on the 21st of May, 2024. Today is Tuesday. Yeah. By the way, my arm is still bothering me. I may have to go back to the doctor here. I tore open my wound yesterday and bleeding profusely. It's healed up again, but that's related to Odez? Really? Wow, okay. Yeah, remember Odez. Yeah, folks, that's right. If you live in South Africa, live it up now. Enjoy that 24 hours of magical substance coming out of the mains where you stick a little cord in the wall and devices just turn on and work. That won't last much longer. The lights behind me, this broadcast, your router, not going to be there much longer. All going to go away. Now, we've been assured that it has nothing to do with the election. We've been assured that we should vote for the ANC. Just give us more time. Patrick went to Home Affairs for temporary ID. It's cashless for everything. I paid for around 5 people with no bank accounts, and they gave me the cash. Yeah, no, that's just, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable cashless. This is an effort to turn us all into controllable serfs. I've covered this story before. Social credit scores, digital currency, it's all a scam. You can be defrauded of everything you own instantaneously by a corrupt government power. If you have cash, it's a little bit harder for them to do that. And it's also a way to control people. If you want to drive from Bloemfontein to Cape Town and you've exceeded your social credit score, then you go into a engine petrol station and you start pumping petrol. Well, not you, but the attendant does. And you get to 10 Rand and it just stops. You can't get any petrol. You've exceeded your petrol, your carbon allowance on your social credit score. So now you are stuck there until the first of the month when you get more carbon credits. This is where they're going with this. These people are sick and demonic and twisted. The world is truly, truly upside down. It's bizarre how someone who simply stands for the rule of law and common sense is now an insurgent, is now the radical side. I find myself spending my entire life defending institutions that had merit to them, that have been hijacked and turned upside down by corrupt fascists and totalitarians, Democrats, Republicans, CDU, CSU, SPD, Tories, Labor. It doesn't matter. ANC-DA, it doesn't matter. The whole world has been stolen by these criminals who want to imprison us all as serfs. You know, it's ironic. In the late 1990s, when I lived in Italy, a movie came out that was groundbreaking, that got everybody's attention, made by Hollywood. My big issue with it was it was a movie that seemed to be made, the sequel, especially to eliminate white people. I mean, it's a very racist plot, but the original movie got the world's attention. Do you take the red pill or the blue pill? The Matrix. We are living in the Matrix, folks. We really are. Absolutely. Right. What else you got here? Mary says, my son was shot in the stomach. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God, Mary, I'm so sorry to hear that. I presume your son survived? Is he still in hospital? Good God. Where's this at, Mary? If you don't have to tell us the exact spot, but where? Wow, and I want to come back to South Africa? Wow. It's unbelievable. Wow. My goodness. Well, that's horrible, folks. Yeah. You know, it's still, I remember, I've said this story many times, sitting at the Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris back in 2000, I think it was 2000. And we had our flight delayed. And there were a bunch of South Africans on the flight and some Americans. And the Americans were asking me, because they knew I traveled a lot after we talked, about, you know, South Africa, how safe it is. And I said, well, you know, it's dangerous. But if you keep your spidey sense about you and you're aware of your surroundings, it goes a long way in protecting you. Also, don't go places you shouldn't be. But that was 2000. That's a long time ago, and things have changed dramatically since then. And the South African's like, pshaw, he's just telling you stories. South Africa's safe. Oh, man, I've lived there my entire life. Look at me. And as the conversation wore on, the lady who said that showed us the scar in her calf muscle where she was shot during an attempted carjacking. The other woman showed us the scar when they cut the side of her neck, when they attempted to rape her after a home invasion. The other person talked about how their sibling or parent had been murdered on a farm. Another one talked about how they were robbed at the mall and yada, yada. Every single person, every single South African, there are about a dozen of them, white, colored. Every single one of them have been a victim of a violent crime. I've been a victim of crime in my life. Many people have, because there's thieves everywhere. But violent crime? Yeah. And I've lived all over the world. All over the world. Mary, did you go? I hope you didn't go. I'm so sorry to hear what happened to your son. Thank you for coming back and being here. Having gold or precious metals might not help. It could be seized, made illegal use. Well, we already saw what can happen with precious metals. The United States government nationalized the gold. They nationalized it. You couldn't own gold except in jewelry. So you weren't allowed to buy gold, trade gold. It was illegal. The government set a flat price of $35 an ounce, a troy ounce. And it nearly destroyed America because Charles de Gaulle tried to destroy America, that slimy frog. He tried to destroy America because up until his effort to make a run on the U.S. currency and collapse the United States economy after we took over the mess that his screwed up frog country left in Vietnam, the ungrateful prick. We've liberated him, his sorry, arrogant ass. Charles de Gaulle tried to destroy the American economy by making a run on our currency. And how did he do that? Well, up until that time, you could exchange as a country, or a business, not as an individual. You could exchange dollar bills for gold bullion. So the U.S. government was obliged to give you gold bullion for dollar bills. So he made a run, took all their dollars and convinced other countries to take all their dollars and demand gold from the U.S. As a consequence, the United States went off the gold standard. A story that's still very much in debate today. We still have lunatics who say that it was, this, and others who say that. But the bottom line is that the U.S. economy would have collapsed, our currency would have collapsed, had we not stopped the immoral and illegitimate currency run created by Charles de Gaulle, a slimy frog who is a piece of crap in history. Oh, did I give you my true feelings about Charles de Gaulle, the arrogant asshat? Joe says, touch apart from when the police, of course, I never was ever victim of crime. Yeah. Joe, I think Streetwise helps, but it's not foolproof. I've been Streetwise, and we all get distracted. We all have other things on our mind. We don't look at every situation. Now, if you're not from the place you come in, you tend to be more, if you're an alert person, you tend to be more alert. Like in my case, when I come to South Africa, I tend to be very alert as to what's going on. You think I don't pay very close attention to what's happening with the people standing outside the doorway at the Cape Town International Airport, the underground ramp going up to the hire cars, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. Why would you put that down there and put people's lives at risk? That's just dumb. That should be overground. Anyway, that in addition to that, getting out of the airport connector road. Same in OR Tambo. I am hyper alert whenever I pick up my hire in that garage, and when I leave that garage and I get onto the roads, whether it's the R21 or it's heading into Joburg, whatever it is, hyper alert as to what's going on around me. Very, very careful there. Yep. So, anyway, lots of love for Mary's son here. Wow. Yeah, well, like I said, it's not, street smarts are not often enough. It's nothing you can do about it sometimes. Did you see the horrific video of the Uber driver? The white Uber driver, the black guy, got in the back of her Uber and put a gun to the back of her neck like this and told her to drive. And he said, it's a gun. She said, no, it's not. He said, yeah, it is. She's like, come on, I've got kids. He shot her in the back of the head and murdered her. 30-some-year-old woman. Black on white crime. Again. Off the charts in America and around the world. Wow. Anyway, let's get off that subject and let's wish Mary's son the best and a quick recovery from this horrific incident. Let's get to the news, folks. Bring it on. Cyril Ramaphosa says, bring it on. I'll be back. Yes, the ANC is not at all afraid of MK now that it's been neutered. The famous coward Cyril Ramaphosa stands up like a man with a pair of testicles after the MK party has been neutered. Now, let's run back through the events. A month ago, Cyril Ramaphosa was running scared, wouldn't address the MK, ignored the MK party. Well, it don't matter at all. It's the MK. No, it's not a threat. We're not worried about the MK. Yeah. And then suddenly in the Brenthurst poll, they come up with 16% of the vote. Then in the Ipsos poll, they still have like 11% or something like that, or 13%. Ooh, MK. And then it all goes the direction the ANC wanted it to go. Well, allegations that they faked signatures, that discredited the party. Then the allegations that Jabulani Kumalo and others tried to assassinate Jacob Zuma, poison him, a la Emerson Mnangagwa at his ice cream social. Yeah. And then they kicked Jabulani Kumalo out of his own party, even though Jacob Zuma is not even a member of the MK party. And then Jabulani Kumalo kicks Jacob Zuma out and they decline in the polls. Then we see a by-election in Northwest where we would expect the MK not to do well at all. They get 1.4% of the vote, and that's called a disaster. It's not a disaster. That's misleading. Anyway, all of that negative press. And then yesterday, the Constitutional Court declared that Jacob Zuma is ineligible. Duh! We knew that all along. If Cyril Ramaphosa was a man, a real mensch, not just a man, a human being, if he wasn't a wuss and a coward, he would have said the same thing I said a month ago. Jacob Zuma is not eligible to serve in Parliament. It's pretty simple. The Constitution is clear. The Electoral Court erred. But it wasn't. But now that the court has neutered Jacob Zuma, now that the court or the IEC is looking into the fake signatures, now all the stuff imploding as the MK party implodes, suddenly Jacob Zuma is a real man. He's got a pair of those Ankoli cattle testicles hanging between his thighs. Yes, the real man, Jacob Zuma. No. Wait, I think I meant to say Sir Ramaphosa. Oh my goodness. Wow. So that's the bottom line here, is that Cyril Ramaphosa suddenly found his voice. He found his pen. Now he's found his voice. Bring it on. We are not scared. Ready to take on the MK party. Hey, the dude on the left looks like a beekeeper. Or is that a lady? Maybe it's a lady. ANC President Ramaphosa is taking a swipe at his predecessor, daring him to bring it on. They formed a party with the same name, with a name starting with an M. What? They thought we were going to be scared. We're not scared. Sinalo Uvalo. Bring on the war. We are ready. We will win the upcoming elections. He was in Northwest. Isn't it funny how Ramaphosa finds his voice? The wuss finds his voice. Yikes. Joe says managed a crisis management center for a major risk company next to the U.S. Embassy in we don't have an embassy in Santon. You mean our consulate? Our embassy is in Hatfield. Yep, I think you mean the consulate. Even our informed operators fell victim. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Democratic Alliance stalwart James Selfa has passed away at the age of 68. Former federal council chairperson died at the age of 68 this afternoon. He stepped down in 2019 due to ill health. He worked for Tony Leon, Helen Zilla, and Musi Maimani. John Steenhuisen said Selfa helped fine-tune the party systems and processes, tightening its federal constitution and turning the fast-growing DA into a modern, internationally renowned African liberal party of rules and fairness. In the late 70s and 80s, he worked as a researcher for the DA's forerunner, the Progressive Federal Party, to combat the National Party's apartheid laws. Yep. 30-year parliamentary career. He served in various portfolio committees. Yep, there you go. So James Self has passed away at the age of 68, folks. Wow. It's too soon. This time, it will be different. It's going to be different, folks. Oh, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. We promise you it'll be different this time. Yeah. No. National health insurance. We'll get that right. ICASA. Airports Company South Africa. Transnet. South African Post Office, South African Airways, Eskom. Shall I continue with the destruction of South Africa? Well, the ANC and Cyril Ramaphosa say, we've learned our lessons. We've learned how to steal the money without you noticing this time. Joe, where are you going? That was quick. President Ramaphosa said that the widespread corruption within government during the COVID scam served as a learning curve, assuring that the national health insurance would not face the same fate. Oh, my goodness. He spoke on 702 and EWN, Eyewitness News. Ramaphosa said the government had learned a lot of lessons over time about corruption and how to deal with it. I'm sorry. Let's just roll the tape. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go back with the Wayback Machine with Sherman and Mr. Peabody right now. It's December 2017. I, Cyril Ramaphosa, will aggressively pursue the state capture that I was part of. Yeah, I was the deputy president. I will aggressively pursue the criminals, the accused, and they will be kicked out. We have a step-aside rule in the ANC, and they cannot serve in government while under suspicion of crimes. I will clean the house up. This will be a transparent government. 2024. How many ANC accused have been prosecuted and or convicted of criminal activity under the Zondo Commission report, or for that matter, since PPE theft and the wholesale looting of South Africa under Cyril Ramaphosa? Let's see. Zandile Gumeda finally in court for 168 counts of fraud. Nobody charged in the oil gate, the travel gate, the arms scandal, still not resolved. We've got the Vreda dairy scandal with Ace Magashule, the asbestos tender, 254 million rand in the Free State, Ace Magashule. We've got Digital Vibes, Dr. Zwelin Kizi. We've got Munir Palapala with his Palapala scam. Have I missed anything? This man has zero credibility. Anybody that believes Jacob Zuma, anybody that believes Cyril Ramaphosa is simply someone in need of mental health counseling. Yep, that's right. My goodness. Wow, Mary. Mary's sharing details of the horrific situation with her son. It sounds like it was touch and go, like he might not have made it. So very fortunate that he's there. Please send him our best wishes and our concerns and thoughts and prayers for his recovery, full recovery. Wow, Mary. It's really horrific to hear that. Wow. Well, the hypocrisy, the blatant lunacy of the African National Congress on full display. Cyril Ramaphosa welcomes the proposed indictments from the International Criminal Court. The law must be applied equally. South Africa welcomes war crimes warrants for Hamas and Israeli leaders. Meanwhile, the squirrel and Jabba the Hutt, Naledi Pandor, solo, Jabba the Hutt and Cyril Ramaphosa are silent on International Criminal Court warrants for Vladimir Putin. They're not asking for equal justice under the law there. They opposed warrants for the arrest of Vladimir Putin for war crimes. Now, bear in mind that neither Israel, Ukraine, or even Russia are signatories to the International Criminal Court, so it has no jurisdiction over them. Ramaphosa on Monday welcomed an effort to arrest the leaders of both Hamas and Israel on war crimes charges, expressing no reservations about the action against the group Israel has insisted is an ally of South Africa. The law must be applied equally in order to uphold the international rule of law, ensure accountability for those who commit heinous crimes, and protect the rights of victims, said Ramaphosa. But again, folks, I go to you live now at Latuli House. Mr. Ramaphosa, what is your position on the genocide against the Uyghurs in Myanmar? Uyghurs? Do they vote ANC? Hypocrisy, thy name is African National Congress. Any fool that votes for them is exactly that, a fool. Nothing but liars and scam artists. Well, speaking of that, why is the South African National Defense Force engaged in law enforcement? The world was reviled the National Party because the military was deployed to Soweto in the townships in 1976 and again in 85. It took 9 months in 85 to quell the uprising in the townships. But the SANDF is being put out to stop criminality. Why not the South African Police Service? Ramaphosa extends army deployment at ESCOM and for police support. Told Parliament in 2 letters dated on May 15th, extension of deployment of 746 members of SANDF for service in cooperation with the police for prevention and combating of crime and maintenance and preservation of law and order under Operation Prosper ESCOM power stations. Members of SANDF deployed will, in cooperation with SAPS, continue to protect and safeguard national key points and critical infrastructure in the energy sector. This is costing taxpayers 203 million rand. Yeah, 203 million rand. Unterhalter finally gets appointed to the court after the racist machinations of the Julius Malema-inspired body that oversees judicial appointments. Finally gets the Supreme Court of Appeal appointment as a judge. Recused himself. Widely regarded as one of South Africa's most brilliant legal minds, Judge David Unterhalter has repeatedly been snubbed for promotion to the Supreme Court of Appeal and Concord by the Judicial Service Commission. After an unprecedented 5th interview, he has been chosen as one of 3 judges to be recommended for appointment to the Supreme Court of Appeal. But of course, Ramaphosa can scupper this. KZN High Court Judge Pete Kern, who faced tough questioning about his decision to recuse himself from Jacob Zuma corruption trials, was not recommended. Well, there you go. Snubbed 4 times by the Judicial Service Commission, Judge David Unterhalter has finally been promoted to the Supreme Court of Appeal. There you go. Well, it's about damn time. Racist. Snubbing this guy is the best qualified jurist out there, and they still Don't put them on. South African officials apparently paid a fortune for the jabs. That's right. Instead of using the $711 million that the United States, the European Union gave to Aspen Pharma, in August of 2021, Cyril Ramaphosa made the circuit around the world accusing the West of vaccine apartheid, lying to the world while people stole $711 million and delivered absolutely zero injections under the Aspen deal. Despite the fact they were given the equipment, the recipe, and all the money they could possibly need to make jabs for all of Africa, they've produced zero, as has the Chinese billionaire who hasn't built anything in South Africa. But in the meantime, they paid a lot more for doses. Well, why did? Because they had a very poor negotiating position. Showed they at least 30 million doses at $10 a dose, a 32% premium over what they charged the European Union. Well, that's what you get. Microsoft announces a deal to once again enrich people based on their skin pigmentation. Yeah. Racist. Microsoft taking our money they fleeced from us with their crappy operating systems for 40 years. Microsoft announces $1.3 billion South African fund to boost black-owned businesses in a deal with the corrupt government. Yep. Signed a huge BE agreement with the Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition run by Ibrahim Patel, the Minister of No Trade. The fund of around $1.3 billion would create, which allows Microsoft to get points on its BE scorecard in lieu of meeting certain black ownership requirements. And that's what Microsoft thinks today. But after the ANC wins the election and forms a government, a year from now, they'll come back and renege and say, well, it doesn't matter that you have points. You still don't have enough black faces on the shareholder list. So you must give us more equity. Here it comes. Yep. Kalani Rampai, Microsoft's South African Managing Director and Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition, Ibrahim Patel, met on May 21st to sign an agreement that signaled the largest financial commitment by a single firm under the Equity and Equivalent Investment Program. Racist. The transaction will create a fund with an estimated value of 1.3 billion rand to support the growth and development of young black South Africans and small and medium enterprises to navigate the changing landscape of the technology revolution. And I'm sorry, and how much money is being given to small, young, aspiring, colored, Indian, or white entrepreneurs? Zero. This is what we call racist. Well, one of the absolutely few white faces in the South African ANC government, Barbara Creasy, has went to speak to victims of a ship sinking, families of the sea harvest. Minister of Forestry, Fisheries, and Environment, Barbara Creasy, is expected to meet the families of the sea harvest trawler that sank on Friday. It sank approximately 35 nautical miles offshore from Hout Bay on Friday, May 19th. 9 of the 20-man crew who were on board were rescued and arrived safely on Friday night in Cape Town aboard the MFV Armana, another one of the ships in the fleet. 11 people presumed to have drowned, and little hope to recover them at this stage. Wow, sad news there. Well, sanctioned Russian tankers are now sporting the flag of convenience of the landlocked Eswatini. How in the world does a country that has no access to the ocean become a flag of convenience for ships at sea? Dozens of tankers remain stuck doing nothing months after being sanctioned by the Treasury Department, a signal the United States has scoped to disrupt Moscow's petroleum supply. Since October, 40 ships involved in Russia's oil trade have been added to the Treasury's list of designated entities, mostly for breaching a price cap. Only one of them collected a cargo since being designated. It's headed to Asia. But now they're putting on the Swazi flag. Russian ships with Swazi flags of convenience. Hey, who was behind the DRC coup attempt? Was it Americans? Was it CIA? MI5? MI6? Which one? One of those. One of those is the external. I can't remember. I think it's MI6 is the external. Yeah. Was it South African intelligence? Who was behind the coup attempt in the DRC? Well, it's people who aren't Americans. Just because you have an American passport doesn't make you an American. It makes you an American citizen, but not an American. Yes, that's right, people. Yep. Who was behind the DRC's attempt? The attackers were led by Christian Malanga, a politician and former military officer based in the U.S. Now, listen to this. Christian Malanga was given residency in America as an asylum seeker as a child with his parents, and then served in the Congolese army up to the rank of captain. What is he doing serving in the Congolese army if he's a resident of the United States and had to flee America for asylum? When he went back to the Congo, his residency permit, his green card should have been terminated. He no longer needed asylum. You see how fraudulent the entire asylum process is? It's a scam to defraud sovereign citizens. Army of the DRC thwarted a coup against the president Felix Tshisekedi in the early hours on Sunday. At least 3 people were killed, including foreigners now in custody. Yeah, all right. So at about 4 a.m. local time, dozens of men wearing military fatigues and armed with submachine guns and rifles attacked the residence of Vital Kamara, federal legislature, who is an ally of the president and a favorite to become the Speaker of the National Assembly. They also breached the Palais de la Nation, the president's official residence and offices, although he rarely uses the premises and was not present at the time. Both locations are about 2 kilometers apart in the Gombe area of the city. All right, at least 3 people killed in the shootouts included 2 Congolese security officials and the leader of the attackers, Christian Malanga. 50 people have been arrested, the Congolese military said, including 3 United States citizens, but they're not Americans. Captain Christian Malanga Musumari is believed to have led Sunday's attack, was a wealthy businessman, politician, and one-time military captain in the Congolese army. He was a resident of the United States where his family secured political asylum when he was a child. And then he went back to the Congo and served in a foreign military, showing fealty to a foreign flag, yet retained his residency in America. How is this possible? As an American Army officer, when I became an officer, if I was married to a foreign national, I couldn't be an officer. The U.S. Army would not allow me to be an officer if I married a foreign national. I'd have to resign. And I could not become one if I was married to a foreign national. Yet, this scumbag is a foreign national, serves in a foreign military, and is allowed to live in America, where his son was born. And they call him an American. I'm sorry. If you are the offspring of evil, fraudulent asylum seekers that happens to be dropped on inside our borders, doesn't make you an American. Don't blame us for this. This is a Congolese affair. We want nothing to do with it. Although Malanga contested parliamentary elections in 2011, he was arrested and detained for several weeks under former President Joseph Kabila. Upon his release, he went to the U.S., where he founded the opposition United Congolese Party. Over the years, he campaigned for religious freedom in Africa and led anti-corruption training initiatives for young Africans in Europe. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, well, guess what? That's all over now. So who are the Americans? At least 3 of those arrests on Sunday were American, including his young son. Yeah, okay. Photos released on social media show the seized passport of another U.S. national, Benjamin Salmon Poulin, American, who was allegedly involved in the Sunday attack. He's identified as a cannabis entrepreneur. Oh, yeah, weed is not dangerous. Another example of the problems with marijuana. Well, these idiots in their attack fired rockets, apparently, and they landed in neighboring Brazzaville across the Congo River, injuring 2 people. 2 Republic of Congo nationals were critically injured as a result of a rocket launched from the neighboring DRC by mercenaries during a foiled plot in Kinshasa. My goodness. Unbelievable. Living in a foreign country, and you are collateral damage for these clowns. What's going on in the chat over here? Sorry. And Mary said something about my branch Cape Town had to pay. Oh, that's Chris. Sea Harvest, $300,000 for docking fees because we took too long to harden crankshaft parts for a ship. You close their account. Yeah, good. Close their account. You should see how racist security guards act at Pixley Memorial. Power frips all the way. You ask where you can stand. The person tells you, and another drags you to another area shouting. Yeah, no, there's just full of racist. Montgomery says, I told you in chat live as it happened, it was Viking fishing owned by Montgomery. I never saw your comment, and my apologies for that. Didn't see that. Why does he get so much airtime across all the radio stations? Because the media, legacy media in South Africa, are corrupt. They're corrupt. They're corrupt. That's why. Simple as that. They are corrupt. They are corrupt. Well, meanwhile, Niger leaves open the continued engagement military with the U.S. U.S. service members will withdraw from West African nation no later than September 15th. Officials say the United States and Niger should still be able to work on issues of mutual interest in the region following the exit. Yeah, for more than a decade, U.S. service members have been working with the Nigerian military to strengthen the force in the face of growing threats from violent extremists. Yes, and guess what? I'm the person who opened the Office of Security Cooperation in Niamey and began that relationship right here. guess what? Niger's military junta can shove it right up their backside. Give them nothing. Mary? Oh, Mary, that worked out really well. Mary got a membership. Wow, that was, wow, couldn't have planned that better. Wow, that's a gift from Nick and Mary got it. Wow, that was pretty cool. Ray Max, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, that's, we talk about gifted memberships, but wow, is YouTube listening? Mary's tragedy, and so she gets a gifted membership. Wow, that is something. Skeptic. Yep, and then we got Brendan Swart and Mark Sayers still to come up. 2 more of those, and I'll get back to the story, and I'll finish my story about Niger in just a moment after these gifted memberships appear on the screen. There's one, Mark Sayers. And one more, Brendan Swart. Yep. Come on, one more. There it is. All right, there you go. All right, so Niger can shove it. It's corrupt, criminal military junta which overthrew a democratically elected government and then threatened France, threatened the United States, give them nothing. The people of Niger will suffer predation. They will suffer misery. They will suffer loss of life and treasure and blood because of this corrupt regime. Give them no intelligence. Give them no assistance. Let them collapse. Simple as that. There's your foreign policy for Niger. Get screwed. Well, the Washington Post, where democracy dies in darkness. Yep. That's where it dies in darkness, at the Washington Post, is busy trying to denigrate European nations for the actions of North African nations. Yeah, that's right. With Europe's support, North African nations push migrants to the desert. This sympathetic simpleton article is all in favor of criminal alien invasion of Europe by Anthony Fiola, Imogene Piper, Joyce Sohun Lee, Klaas van Dijken, Mal Julian, and May Bowman. Are you frickin' serious? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people to write one article. Wow, we have raised a generation of complete ignoramuses. I've said this before, all of these major news sites have multiple authors for the same article. This is pathetic. Whatever happened to real journalists and analysts? 6 people to write a single article. Look, teaming up with another researcher is fine. Collabs for articles actually can make them much better, and research can be much better as a consequence. But having 6 people get a byline on a newspaper article is pathetic. This is Algeria. Follow the light. The Tunisian barked at the black migrants. If you're seen here, you'll be shot. Francois, a 38-year-old Cameroonian, obeyed, jumping off the bed of a pickup truck near the desolate Algerian frontier. A day earlier, the rickety boat attempting to carry him and other hopeful sub-Saharans to Europe, including his wife and 6-year-old stepson, had been interdicted by the Tunisian Coast Guard in the cobalt blue waters off the coast. Still wet and cold, a group of 30 migrants, including 2 pregnant women, now walk toward their punishment, the desert. Their ordeal, an odyssey of at least 345 miles from sea to sand, recounted by Francois and verified by matching his GPS tracking on his phone with images and videos he captured during 9 days of wandering, illustrates one example of the draconian practices being deployed in at least 3 North African nations to dissuade sub-Saharan migrants from risky crossings to Europe. They are not migrants. They are criminal alien invaders. Stop calling them migrants. Washington Post, where the truth goes to die in darkness. The Washington Post, 6 authors to write these lies. Empathy? You want empathy for a Cameroonian? Go back to your country and fix your broke-ass country. Quit invading Europe. I find it so comical. Well, white people don't belong in Africa. Well, then why do black people belong in Europe? I'm not saying they don't belong there. But if white people can't be in Africa, why can black people be in Europe? Amal Clooney, the arrogant, privileged, rich, elite, nasty wife of George Clooney, was one of the key architects behind getting the International Criminal Court to potentially issue warrants for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu. The International Criminal Court announced it's seeking the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Amal Clooney played a key role in the decision to pursue that warrant. The human rights lawyer and wife of actor George Clooney wrote her participation letter posted Monday on a website of the couple's Clooney Foundation for Justice. She said she and other experts in international law unanimously agreed to recommend the International Criminal Court chief prosecutor seek the warrants. Really? And why didn't you seek warrants of arrest for the leaders of Hamas on October 8th, Miss Clooney? You fascist, anti-Semite, Jew hater. Yeah. Yep. Hey, well, Joe Biden says it's not a genocide. So now we're good, folks. We know. Sleepy Joe on Monday sought to reassure Jewish voters that he stands firmly with Israel, calling for a full defeat of Hamas and denouncing the International Criminal Court's assertion that Israel's leaders are guilty of war crimes. What's happening is not genocide. We reject that. Vowing to continue to work around the clock to free the remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas, the president avoided any past criticisms of Prime Minister Netanyahu's plan to launch a larger-scale invasion. Joe Biden doesn't know from day to day what his policy in Gaza is. One day he's denying munitions to Israel. The next day, he is saying there's no genocide and he'll stand by Israel. The man is completely clueless. He has no idea. He's trying to walk a fence when he can't even walk up a flight of stairs, trying to tread carefully not to piss off too many radical, lunatic, purple-haired, leftist, hate-wanking lesbians, while at the same time trying to satisfy Jews. It isn't working, Joe. It isn't working. Yes, she is, Charles. That's exactly what she is. 6,000-foot drop from 37,000 to 31,000 feet in a matter of minutes. Singapore Airlines flight hit by turbulence. One passenger has passed away and others injured. The inside of this plane is crazy, folks. Wow. A Singapore Airlines flight from London made an emergency landing in Bangkok due to severe turbulence, with one passenger on board dead and local media reporting multiple injuries. Media reports said there were 30 injuries. After 11 hours of flying time from takeoff in London, the aircraft sharply dropped from an altitude of 37,000 feet to 31,000 feet within 5 minutes as it finished traversing the Andaman Sea and neared Thailand. Suddenly, the aircraft starts tilting up, and there was shaking, so I started bracing for what was happening. And very suddenly, there was a very dramatic drop, so everyone seated and not wearing a seatbelt was launched immediately into the ceiling. Drashfran Azmir, a 28-year-old student on board the flight, told Reuters. Some people hit their heads on the baggage cabins overhead and dented it. They hit the places where lights and masks are and broke straight through it. Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport official confirmed one death but could not confirm the total injured. Wow. Turbulence-related aircraft incidents are the most common type, according to a 2021 study by the National Transportation Safety Board. From 2009-2018, U.S. agency found turbulence accounted for more than a third of reported airline accidents. Wow. That is just great. That's hectic, folks. That's hectic. Australia and New Zealand evacuate their nationals from New Caledonia as the French president prepares to travel to this chaotic place. In the first of two Australian aircraft arrived to rescue 300 citizens who have been registered for assistance in the French Pacific Territory. The New Zealand Air Force plane also arrived, according to Flight Radar 24, and will bring home 50 Kiwis. The unrest began last week after lawmakers in Paris voted through changes that will allow more French residents to vote in local elections, a move that the indigenous Kanak residents say will dilute their political influence. Yeah. Dozens have been injured and more than 200 people arrested so far. At least 3 Kanak have been killed, along with 2 police officers. Around 290 New Zealanders are believed to be in New Caledonia. And look at this chaos. Burnt cars, rocks blocking the road. Roadblocks have been rebuilt by pro-independence Kanak activists. A masked 25-year-old who gave only his first name Stanley said the proposed voting reform means the elimination of the Kanak people. Wow. France has flown in 1,050 extra police to boost security in the territory, with a further 600 reinforcements to arrive in coming hours. There are estimated 3,200 people trying to flee or enter New Caledonia. Wow. It's been a French territory since the mid-1800s. New Caledonia on fire at this hour. No more cute snaps of Mount Fuji. And you know what? Screw this village. I hope that they all go bankrupt. No more cute snaps of Mount Fuji. A screen has been put up. We told you about this story a month ago in a Japanese town that doesn't want tourists. Sorry, the screen is now up. No more snapping cute photos of Mount Fuji from a popular sidewalk spot in the Japanese town of good Lord. Fujikawakuchiko. Good Lord. Known as a place that offers some of the best views of the iconic mountain, the town last month started erecting a large black screen on a stretch of street to block the view. So, there you go. Screw that town. I hope that they all go broke. France has betrayed Israel, a sovereign state, By backing the International Criminal Court, prosecutor seeks an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, knowing full well that Israel is not a signatory to the ICC, and therefore they have no jurisdiction over any Israeli nationals or any events that take place in Israel. You have to be a signatory to it. But the rogue, out-of-control ICC, established under the Rome Statute, ironically drafted by United States lawyers in the 1990s, the Rome Statute, which allows for this rogue agency to do what it wants, does not have sovereignty over states that have not signed it. That was the whole premise of the treaty. But it acts as if it does. This is out of control. France is backing the International Criminal Court and the fight against impunity. Impunity. The International Criminal Court is the body that's acting with impunity. They have no jurisdiction in Ukraine, in Russia, in the United States, in Sudan, in Israel. So stop it. Well, the first Canadian oil has flowed through, I should say, to the oil export cargo in the ecologically sensitive Vancouver area. Yep, the Trans Mountain Pipeline, which has been around for decades, has been expanded to bring even more of the oil sands out to ship to China. Crude oil tanker Dubai Angel on Monday moored at the Westridge Marine Terminal in Vancouver, preparing to load the first cargo of crude oil from the recently expanded Trans Mountain Pipeline. Chartered by the Canadian oil producer Suncor, the Marshall Islands flag vessel was expected to load 550,000 barrels of Access Western Blend for delivery to China. So tell me once again, you demonic, crapweasel, leftist, self-pleasuring, self-wanking lunatics, how in the world you think it makes more sense to take oil sands oil from Alberta, load it into trucks, and ship it through a pipeline to Vancouver, where you put it on boats in an ecologically pristine and fragile environment to ship across the Pacific to be refined in Chinese polluting refineries, and how that's going to reduce the carbon footprint, when the oil could have flowed through the Keystone XL pipeline from the plains in Alberta down through the plains in America to refineries that are perfectly well suited and designed to refine this low-grade petroleum product, this bitumen, into useful products that are much more environmentally safe. And how does sending it to China save any carbon dioxide? My goodness. Idiots. Morons. They just made Americans, Native Americans, Midwesterners, Gulf Staters, and Canadians poor. That's all they've accomplished, and denied us access to energy while fueling China's economy. Donald Trump will not testify in his trial. The defense is rested. They called just 2 witnesses before wrapping up their case. Lawyers defending Donald Trump in his criminal trial rested their case after calling for just 2 witnesses, neither of them the former president, setting a stage for closing arguments next week. The judge overseeing the case said he hoped that the jury of 12 New Yorkers could begin deciding Mr. Trump's guilt or innocence next Wednesday. Over more than 5 weeks of testimony, prosecutors presented 20 witnesses, including Michael Cohen, a serial convicted felon, liar, and we now know a thief, Mr. Trump's one-time fixer who paid $130,000 in so-called hush money to a porn star. Mr. Trump's reimbursement, Mr. Cohen, is at the center of the 34 felony counts against the former president. Yeah. So there's a gag order preventing Trump from commenting because, once again, justice is not blind, it's corrupt. The Veterans Administration has approved 1 million claims under the burn pit law. Biden will announce this and claim credit for it. Headed to New Hampshire to discuss care for veterans suffering from toxic exposure. Well, I've suffered from toxic exposure, and I've been given nothing for this. Yep. The promise to address Comprehensive Toxics or PACT Act into law in the summer of 2022 with the goal of quickly getting benefits to veterans who have been suffering from a variety of maladies that did not qualify for treatment by the Department of Veterans Affairs. That includes cancer, allergic rhinitis, bronchial asthma, hypertension, sinusitis, and other conditions related to the respiratory system. Well, where's my money? Where's my money? The VA didn't give me any extra money for that. A general, the last 4-star Army general in Afghanistan, warned the Biden regime, who ignored him completely. Austin Scott Miller, the last 4-star U.S. commander based in Kabul, is among the latest witnesses to meet with lawmakers scrutinizing the Biden regime's management of the cowardly withdrawal. He warned that Afghanistan would get very bad very fast. Duh. You don't have to be a rocket scientist for that. Top U.S. general in Afghanistan during the American military's 2021 withdrawal repeatedly warned Washington that security would get very bad very fast after troops departed. But the Biden regime still failed to grasp the danger in keeping its embassy open with only nominal protection. Retired General Austin said in closed-door testimony before the House Foreign Affairs Committee that his tour was nearing its end in July. He was so troubled by the administration's lack of understanding of the risk that he privately warned a Marine Corps commander charged with planning for possible evacuation to prepare for really adverse conditions. I did not foresee a good future for Afghanistan as I was departing. Yep. There you go. So, another impeachable offense for Joe Biden. Hey, Indians accused of visa fraud in America. There's a shocker. Not. That's right. So we have idiotic standards for asylum seeking, including, if you suffer trauma as a victim of crime. Well, Indians are getting clever. They stage fake robberies so that they can make claims that they could stay in America because they were suffering from psychosocial trauma. 4 Indians among 6 charged for visa fraud conspiracy in U.S. During the staged robberies, individuals acted as robbers, brandished what appeared to be firearms, and approached the purported victims and demanded money and property. Yeah, according to the indictment unsealed in federal court in Chicago, the 4 individuals, Bikarabi Patel, Nilesh Patel, Ravaneen Patel, seems to be a trend here, Patel, and Rajni Kumar Patel, arranged with Parth Naya and Kwiyong Young to be victims of a staged robbery so they could submit applications for U, non-immigrant status visa. The visa is set aside for victims of certain crimes who suffered mental or physical abuse and are helpful for law enforcement or government officials in investigation or prosecution. Upon certification, some of the purported victims then submitted fraudulent U visa applications to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services predicated upon their alleged status as a robbery victim. Naya, Young, Patel, and Patel were charged with conspiracy to commit visa fraud. Wow. Yeah. Elvis Presley's granddaughter is trying to save Graceland from what her business partners claim is a fraudulent claim. Elvis Presley's granddaughter, actress Riley Keough, is attempting to halt the proposed sale of Graceland, the late singer's home in Memphis, Tennessee. Keough inherited the mansion and much of Presley's estate after her mother, Lisa Marie, died last year. However, Graceland is now at the center of a dispute with a company that says the compound was used as collateral in a $3.8 million loan that was taken out by Lisa Marie but never paid back. Keough alleges the paperwork on the loan is fraudulent and their mother's signature was forged. 34-year-old actress is best known for starring in Amazon's Daisy Jones and 6, has filed a legal action to stop the planned auction from taking place Thursday. Wow. They're going to auction off Graceland on Thursday? That's insane. That's insane. Ivan Boesky, the famed or infamous trader, inside trader from Wall Street, has passed away at the age of 87. Boesky, convicted of crimes in the late 1980s, known as Ivan the Terrible for his risk arbitrage, and he was one of the biggest insider trading scandals of the 1980s. Ivan Boesky, the financier who gave birth to the greed is good mantra before going to prison in one of the biggest Wall Street insider trading scandals in the 1980s, died at the age of 87. Boesky, who partly inspired Gordon Gekko character in the 1987 movie Wall Street, was considered a genius at risk arbitrage, the business of speculating in takeover stocks, and his wealth was estimated at $280 million. I think greed is healthy. You can be greedy and still feel good about yourself, he said in a commencement speech at the University of California, Berkeley in 1986. A few months later, he would be in disgrace and near bankruptcy. He became a legend by committing vast sums to potential merger deals, trying to take over companies. Ivan Frederick Boesky, born in 1937, grew up in Detroit, where his parents owned restaurants. There you go. He moved to Wall Street in 1966, joining L.F. Rothschild as a securities analyst. 1975 with $700,000 bankroll by his wife's family, he established his own firm specializing in risk arbitrage. Yep. In 1981, the corporation had $500 million in assets. He made more than $150 million in profits from runs on CBS, Gulf Oil, and Conoco. Died at the age of 87. Ivan Boesky. Red Lobster has officially filed bankruptcy. $1 billion in debt, and a recent all-you-can-eat shrimp thing kind of did them in. The Wall Street Journal reports that Red Lobster is stung by the endless shrimp. Yep. They are auctioning off Red Lobsters around the country. Wow. 50 of them. There's the iconic Red Lobster in Manhattan. I've eaten at that one. Wasn't impressed. Yep, Red Lobster. This location is closed. Despite officially filing for bankruptcy, Red Lobster has a lot of fish in its sea. Red Lobster buys 20% of North American lobster tails, one restaurant, and 16% of rock lobsters sold worldwide, serving 64 million people annually. but it went into bankruptcy. It owes its creditors $300 million and only had $30 million in cash and unpaid vendors. Wow, that's kind of a bummer. Love Red Lobster. Caitlin Clark is still coming in for all kinds of ridiculous racist scrutiny, and it's getting nauseating at this point. I'm going to probably make a video and put this on my other channel about this Caitlin Clark story. These black female athletes whining about Caitlin Clark getting all this attention. So let me just read through some of the stuff I want to say here. So Las Vegas Aces star Aja Wilson, who's a defending champion, said, I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. To be clear, Caitlin Clark is a skilled hardcourt savant from Iowa, and they compared her to Larry Bird in the criticism he got when he came in. Bird and Clark captivated audiences and brought unmatched attention to basketball with an ability to score from every corner of the court. Neither Bird or Clark were the first great white male or female pro basketball players. Jerry West is the actual NBA logo. The logo for the NBA is Jerry West. And before Clark, the long list of talented white NBA players, WNBA players, included Sue Bird and Breanna Stewart. But Clark, who will lead the Fever against the Sparks this Friday, also stands out for who she's not. In a league which is approximately 70% of the players are black, nearly a third identify as lesbians, and most come from urban environments, she is white, straight, and from Iowa. We would all be very naive if we didn't say race and her sexuality played a role in her popularity. Jamil Hill is unbothered. That's the podcast where this was. While so many people are happy for Caitlin's success, including the players, this has had such an enormous impact in the game that there's part of it that is a little problematic because of what it says about the worth and marketability of the players who are already there. Caitlin fits a very comfortable narrative for a lot of people in the United States. She comes from the heartland. She's an amazing talent. She's also white, straight, right? There's not a lot of things that would make people feel uncomfortable with that person being successful. Except maybe in some WNBA locker rooms for veteran players who have struggled for years with low pay, commercial travel, and little media coverage and attention and riches showered on Clark, who has played only 3 professional games. That's fueled some bitterness. For some, it's more than just basketball play. And their issue isn't with Clark, but rather with the hype machine that has beautified her or beatified her. You can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman, and yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. Really? I think that Candace Owens gets a lot of attention. Anyway, they don't seem to see it as marketable. So it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter that all we do as black women, we're still going to be swept under the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. Really. It's made race because you're making about race. Oh, boy. Supposed double standards. Caitlin Clark's first preseason game was streamed, but Angel Reese wasn't. That was her competitor in the previous season's final in the NCAA. She got an endorsement deal. Other players, established black players, not so much. Part of the problem here, if people wonder why there's resentment, is this idiocy, this shameful, disgraceful, racist practice endorsed by all media outlets of capitalizing the word black. Black is not a group. It's a description. It's an adjective. Yeah, anyway, it goes on and on. So this whole nonsense about Caitlin Clark and this look. So they're whining. The Los Angeles Times runs a huge story on this. That's what I'm going to talk about. Oh, that's actually what the story is here at the Los Angeles Times. Here you go. Caitlin Clark marketing boom is celebrated, but also draws questions about race and equity. You sick, twisted, sorry bastards. Is that all you can focus on? The WNBA, which is a boring league, played with an undersized ball, an oversized hoop, and players who lack the physicality of the NBA, has been boring since its inception. I've gone a WNBA game. It was a snooze fest. Not impressive. And why do we want to support people like Brittany Griner, an American-hating scumbag who is a druggie, and then we trade to get her back rather than an American Marine who's trapped in a Russian prison for falsely being accused of spying for the U.S.? We go for Brittany Griner. We celebrate her lesbianism, her anti-Americanism. Look, when people want to watch women's sports, they want to see women. They want to see women, not American-hating clowns like Brittany Griner. So these black athletes can whine all they want. The media, the white liberal media, can tell the fairy tales all they want. The reason why Caitlin Clark is so popular is because she's average. She's average, but she excels. I mean, being impressed by a WNBA player who's 6'5", her physique is impressive, but the fact that she can dunk or that she rules over somebody in the paint, not a big deal. Not going to buy that. Aaliyah Boston for the Fever is huge. She's got the frame of a NFL linebacker. No wonder she's going to dominate in the paint. But Caitlin Clark is just 6 foot tall. She's thin of stature. She's not attractive. She's average. But she performs well above where one would expect. That's why she's popular. That's why she's popular. Not because she's straight, not because she's white, not because she's from the Midwest. That's nonsense. Michael Jordan wasn't from the Midwest. He's black as black can be. He's from North Carolina, and we love Jordan. We venerated Jordan. Karl Malone, loved him. Absolutely. Phil Chenier, Wes Unseld, loved them all. Fantastic players. Bill Russell, last time I checked, he's black. Love them all. Why must these worthless, endless race hustlers whine about this? Instead of whining, these crybaby black lesbians in the WNBA ought to be grateful that Caitlin Clark's dynamism as a college player has gotten people to pay attention. I've watched 3 WNBA games this season. Do you know how many WNBA games I've watched in the past 25 years other than going to one? Zero. Because it's not worth the time and effort to look it up. It's boring. I mean, it's unbelievable. Watching these teams turn the ball over more than 6-year-old kids on the court, and these are professional teams. Shooting a ball that's undersized, that drops through the hoop easy. If they shot with the same ball that men play with like they used to, that'd be a different story. This is why Caitlin Clark is popular, because she is not exceptional as a human specimen, but her performance is lights out exceptional. Sick of the racist nonsense. Meanwhile, the USA men's rugby team is mostly white, but you don't see any white faces. Why is that? What's that all about? I need a smile. I don't need a smile. I love straight men have beat women have boo. What? Hey, Stephanie Michael. It has been a while. Yep. No, they're not one size. No. Let me see if I can find an image to compare them. Compare. Yeah, difference between, okay. Images, same, find one. Yep, here we go. Nobody's giving me a good picture of this. I finally found one. Come on, where's it at? They don't want to show. They don't want to show the comparison side by side because they'll have to admit that I found one picture here, but it's from someone's YouTube. So I'm going to have to see if I can open this up another window. There we go. Oh, that's not a particularly good one. This could be misleading. So, yeah, that could be misleading. That's not an actual one. So I'm just trying to find it. Yep. What's this? Yeah, here we go. This will work. So, yeah, it's... Here you go. Let me put that up. So here you can see the difference in sizes. It doesn't sound like much, but it's much difference when you actually touch the ball. So there you go. Youth play with a 27.5-inch ball. Mid-size is for girls age 9 and up. Boys 9 to 12 play with that size ball, 28.5. But the official size basketball is 29.5 inches, which is significantly larger. All males over the age of 13 play with that ball. Women, all ages, play with a smaller ball, which goes to the hoop much easier. Nick Groves just gave a super chat. Thank you for that, Nick. I'll check that out in a moment. BLM, if there ever was anything I hated more than ANC, it's BLM. Yep. Okay, Chris. Any news on Derek Chauvin? No idea what that is. Derek Chauvin. Oh, Derek Chauvin. Oh, no. He's in prison. I don't know news on that. Off the topic, the World Darts Federation's definitive male-female separation problem really is the pay. Well, you say that, but they allow trans women to play in women's darts. We saw the British darts player back out of a tournament and forfeit rather than play against a man. They'll use Caitlin up soon and need another attraction. Oh, they use Caitlin up. I don't know about that. Yeah. So much for equality. Exactly. National Tea Day. I had no idea. Yesterday was the World Bee Day. National Tea Day. Well, not big tea drinkers here in the U.S. Yep, we kind of got away from that. Mary says, got to go. Thank you, Mary, for being here, and thoughts and prayers for your son. My goodness, what a horrible thing. Yeah, anyway, so, hey, Stephanie, how you doing? Jacques Vint, the education today is way, way worse. He was trying to say that the standard of Bantu education was poor. It's a lot worse now. Yeah, it is. Yep. I heard some bee colonies are shrinking. Some research says it's... well, RJ, you'd have to be specific. Are we talking Europe, in South Africa, in North America? Bees are always under threat. They're under threat here in North America. But a lot of it, some of us speculate that we believe that one of the reasons why bees become vulnerable is because of monoculture. So in California, they bring bees in. They're shipped in. Bees, people provide the bees. And then they go and they pollinate the almond groves. And that's all there are, almond trees with almond blooms. But bees like a variety of pollen sources. And the thought is that the stress of them, being farmed like that and being moved from place to place, plus monoculture, has an impact, making them more susceptible and weakening their immune system, which would make sense. It would make sense. But there's a lot of things going on. Hey, Brian Cox, how's it going? Nick's still drinking beer. 350 Rand. Thank you for that 350 Rand, Nick. I do appreciate that. Very kind of you. Well, that's going to help us. All right. I forgot about the 100% truth. Nothing better than a lawful protest. Both men and women throw from the same distance. Huh? Cena is saying Damien Willems has torn ligaments. Says, that's in his hand. That happened just when the game began. Oh, man. I did not see that. Let me look that up. Oh, I saw that play. Damn it. I haven't seen it here. So it hasn't, I don't know what news you saw it on, but it hasn't made it yet. So maybe News 24. Let me look there and see if they've got it. They might have it. News 24, sport, rugby. No, not listed there yet. So, So the Pumas playing the Griquas on Saturday in the SA Cup. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll have to see if I can watch that game. I'll cover that game, Pumas and Griquas. So that'd be cool. Anyway. So, how are we doing over here? All right, 99 people here, 87 likes. Cool beans. 5 beers down. We'll keep drinking those beers because the super chats keep coming. Sloat Steenkamp is here. Hey, Sloat. All right, so one of my viewers contacted me earlier and asked me to explain U.S. political system. So I'm going to do that now. We've gotten through the news. Hopefully people here are interested and want to learn. So let me do a slight comparison. South Africa, you have what you consider to be a republic, but it's not really. It's a parliamentary system. For instance, no South Africans vote for president. That's done by members of parliament. So that's a parliamentary system. You're basically picking a prime minister, but you're calling him a president. The difference is how much authority they have. So, oh my goodness, here comes. Oh, Matthew Dixon got gifted a membership by Erica. Matthew Dixon. All right, so the United States has the Electoral College system. It was set up because the country was founded by 13 colonies. Etienne Ronnie. 13 colonies that were of varying sizes. You had large colonies like New York, Virginia, Massachusetts, huge colonies, Pennsylvania. Those 4 were the biggest and had most population. Mike B. There you go, Mike. They were the ones that were the largest, had most of the population. And if you create a system with simply first past the post, 50 plus 1, you would ensure that the other states' rights and views, Laudine Monday, you would ensure that the other states' rights and views were trampled on by larger states. Why would anybody join a union when they're going to be a second-class citizen, which is what would have happened to Maryland, South Carolina, North Carolina, states like that, Delaware? They would have had no say. So our system was crafted to intentionally ensure that the rights of the minority were protected. Now, it's not foolproof, and it has had problems, particularly with the issue of slavery, but that was something that was put in that we could get rid of. So here's the deal. The Electoral College is set up so that each state gets represented fairly. Larger states may whine about it, but they join the union voluntarily, so tough noogies. So you get one Electoral College vote for every senator. Each of the states are co-equal. Delaware, with just 800,000 people or something like that, and Wyoming with 550,000 people, are just as important in our system as Florida with 28 million people and California with 38 million people. Just as important. Therefore, every one of the 50 states gets two senators. Two senators. So that's 100 of the 535 electoral votes. Then every representative in Congress, the House, those are the people's representatives. They are elected directly by the people. Initially, the system was set up so that the state legislatures selected the senators. So everybody who was a senator in the United States for the first 100 plus years was not voted on. They were a senator because they were picked by the state legislature. That's where they came from, not by the people. Kind of like the South African system, like a parliamentary system. But not for a parliament, for the national. So anyway, so the senators since 1913 or thereabouts have been voted on directly by Americans because of the constitutional amendment, and one of the most disastrous decisions in our history, which has skewed our politics horribly. So the House of Representatives, we vote for the representatives and always have voted for representatives, and it's based on population apportionment. So for instance, if you have a small state, you get fewer votes. You get fewer representatives in Congress. California gets a lot of, I think you get 54, two senators of 52 representatives, but that's going down. Pennsylvania had 18 representatives in the House and 2 senators, but now we're only going to have 17 representatives because the most recent census moved us down. We didn't lose population, but we didn't gain. So other states got bigger, so we lose out. We lose a representative. And roughly each congressional district is about 685,000 residents. Critically important, residents, occupants, including criminal alien invaders. This is what's wrong with the system. The system is being skewed because criminal alien invaders, and at one time it was skewed because slaves were counted as 3/5 of a vote. So they were property, but they're counted as 3/5 of a vote. And this brings the whole nonsense of how black people were, only were three. It's horse manure. There were white slaves too. But anyway, so the point is that, Pennsylvania has 18, will be 17 congressional districts, which means they'll have to redo the boundaries. Now, that's where gerrymandering comes in, where people mess around with the electoral boundaries. Democrats and Republicans try to jerry-rig it so they can ensure that they stay in power. So, for instance, down south in Alabama, I think it was in Mississippi, they created a majority black district by moving the lines of the district to find places where black people lived in congregation and big population centers to ensure that there would be a black member of Congress. Now, this is not equal protection under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. It's superior treatment for black voters. If black voters want a black representative, then they need to convince white folks in districts to vote for the black representative and vice versa. But this criminal, immoral behavior by the U.S. Supreme Court and upholding that garbage ensures that we have an outsized representation of black Americans in Congress, far in excess of the 12% of the population which they represent. And that is morally wrong and a violation of the 14th Amendment. But anyway, 535 electoral votes, and the magic number is 270. That gets you 50 plus 1, 270. All right? So the states, with the exception of Maine and Nebraska, in every state, whoever wins the state with the most votes, and it doesn't have to be 50 plus 1, it can be 42 to 41. Whatever candidate gets the most votes in 48 of the 50 states, the states set the laws. Every electoral vote, it's winner take all. So in Pennsylvania, if Donald Trump wins by 1 vote, say he gets 39% to Joe Biden's 39, but 1 vote difference, Donald Trump gets all 19 of our electoral votes. They go to him. And that's why it's an important system. Because the way the system is set up now, if we got rid of the Electoral College and it was simply based on popular vote, then the only place people would campaign is California, Texas, Florida, New York, and maybe 1 or 2 swing states that might change it, because that's where the population base is. And so that's why we have a system that ensures that the majority does not lord over the minority. We protect the minority in this country. And that's why we have an electoral college system. Now, you may be wondering who the electors are. Well, that's more complicated because the electors aren't the members of Congress. They aren't. The electors are people who are selected in the states. You actually vote on them. And each party votes on their electors, and then they have a slate of electors. So the Democrats have a slate of 19 electors here in Pennsylvania for this year's presidential election, and the Republicans have a slate of electors, 19. The whole scam going on trying to prosecute and persecute Republican fake electors is bogus. There's no such thing as fake electors. The parties elect these people, unless the claim is these were people who were not elected, and they're trying to circumvent those who were elected. But in 1960, Hawaii was a brand new state. It became a state, 1959? And it was the first time it participated in a presidential election. Hawaii initially was certified for Kennedy. They recounted the ballots as an automatic result of the close number of votes, and Nixon was declared the winner. The Republicans put together their slate of electors. The Democrats complained and filed a lawsuit, and the lawsuit, while it was going through, the Democrats got their slate of electors. Both political parties, and now Nixon was certified the winner. They both went to D.C. to vote. The Congress accepted the votes from both parties. And then Hawaii reversed the decision on a recount and said that Kennedy had won by a handful of votes. So the Congress set aside the Republican votes they had counted and kept the Democratic votes. Where are the fake electors? Where is the undermining of democracy? That's how democracy works. That's what's going on. Yep. Teresa says, Caucasian Asian slaves, white, yes, indeed, enslaved since Babylon. Hence today we still have countries with, like Iran and Lamas. Yep. Many Iranians celebrated. What did they celebrate? Stephanie says, well done. For what? What did I well do? What did I do well? What did I miss here? I missed something in the chat. Anyway, founding fathers, they were, Dave. Our founding fathers were absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yep. Bees use the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. Yeah, that's true. And the problem is it changes. Every so many 100,000 years, it changes. It shifts. The magnetic poles shift. Yep. After the fire shenanigans in Hawaii, you'd think they'd turn. But yeah, no. Hawaii is a bizarre state. It's a blue state, and it's weird. It's always been a fringe state. It's got an incredibly wild kaleidoscope of ethnicities, of Anglos, of Japanese, of Polynesians. It's all over the place. All over the place. Yeah. So that's the thing about Hawaii. So anyway, what's that? Nick Groves, super chat. Thank you for that, Nick. Another beer down. What's the difference between a congressman, a congresswoman, and a senator? Ah, okay. That's a fair question. So they're all congressmen, technically. Nick Groves gave another super chat. Well, he asked the same question twice. Okay. No, Reagan did win all 50 states. In 1984, he won 49. His opponent was from Minnesota, and his opponent won Minnesota. But he won 49 of 50 states in an electoral landslide and also in a popular vote landslide. Yep. Okay, so back to every member of Congress is technically a congressman. But their proper title for the House of Representatives is representative. And their proper title for the Senate is senator. So that's the difference. Here in Pennsylvania, we have a similar system at the state level, which you consider provincial level, of a state legislature. But our state legislature has a House and it has a Senate. So we have representatives and we have senators, just like the national level. Most states are like that. Yep. So, and Roger Abbott salutes you. Well, thank you for that, Roger. Ineptocracy. Yeah, it is an ineptocracy. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, Reagan did not win. Walter Mondale won Minnesota's home state, and that's it. He got slaughtered in a landslide in 1984. In 1980, Reagan won, but it wasn't, what are the results in 80? It wasn't the same. It wasn't, it was a big win, but let me take a look and see. So 1980. Presidential race results. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look at the actual numbers. So Reagan won most of the states. He didn't win Minnesota. He didn't win West Virginia. He didn't win Maryland. Did not win Georgia. because Carter was from Georgia, so he won that. But Reagan won all of them. But, so electoral count was 489 to 49. So Reagan was a landslide. Yep. Landslide, 1984. And he won with 51% of the popular vote, 44 million to 35 million. Carter got 35 million despite destroying the country. John Anderson got 5 million, or 6.6% of the votes, 5.7 million. Yep. John Anderson, wow. Yep. Yeah, I remember him. Ran as an independent. Yep. He died in 2017. Wow. Almost 100 years old. Wow. We can't live forever. That sucks. It'd be nice if we could live forever, huh? I want to be forever young. That's what Alphaville said. Yeah, 1984. Let me see if we can get the 84 election there. And get the results on that. Yeah, so 84. Come on, where are we at? Boy, Reagan's got a long biography here, so I got to get going here. 80 election. Doesn't even cover the 84 one here. There it is. Yeah, 84. Yeah. 1984 presidential election. He beat Walter Mondale 55 million to 37 million. He got almost 60% of the vote. No president has gotten those numbers since then. I don't think. Almost 60%. The only state he didn't get was Minnesota, which is where Mondale was from. Yep, and that's for famously the first female candidate ran for president was Geraldine Ferraro. Yep, Geraldine Ferraro. Wow, that was a long time ago. I remember that. Yep, she's dead now too. She died in 2011. Good Lord. Wow. Man, oh man. The clock just keeps turning over. Reagan won re-election in a landslide victory, carrying 525 electoral votes, 49 states, and 58.8% of the popular vote. Mondale won 13 electoral votes from Minnesota, and he also got the District of Columbia. Yep. But he only won Minnesota by 0.18%. Wow. It was the second largest share of the Electoral College votes since 1820, the largest for a Republican, and the most raw electoral votes received by a candidate. Last time any candidate won the popular vote by double digits. There you go. It's the biggest margin of victory in forever. 1984. 1988. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. That was when Bush won. It says 1988. Presidential election. There we go. All right, Michael Dukakis. Oof, never going to forget that guy. So, Bush won 48 million. So he got 10 million less votes than Reagan got in his re-election campaign. He had been his vice president. He got 53.4% of the vote, and Dukakis got 45% of the vote. But Bush got 48, almost 49 million votes. But you can see the signs already for Republicans. He didn't get Washington State. He didn't get Oregon, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, New York, Massachusetts, West Virginia, or the District of Columbia. So, yeah, Dukakis still alive. Born 1933. Michael Dukakis. Wow. He had been governor of Massachusetts, but that's a long time ago. 91 was governor of Massachusetts. And then he ran for president. And he got beat badly. And then Clinton won with a plurality of votes, not a majority. And is there another country with a similar voting system? Yes. With Electoral College, I don't think so. We have lots of countries that model their system after ours with a Congress, with a House and Senate, but not many that I think, I'm not even aware of any that even have an Electoral College. I'm not sure. What did Cupcake say about the MK? Oh, Suppery Pickle, you're very late to the party. He said, bring it on. He said, we're not afraid of MK. Of course, this is after they lost. After they lost all their traction. Well, we've got, that's not Ty Bot. Pararoy didn't give us Ty Bot. That's ZAR. Yes. But Brandon got 81 million votes. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that super chat. The Eichbaum beers at Checkers. Different styles, which is good. Eichbaum. Don't know Eichbaum. No. Roger Rabbit wants a shout out. I already shouted out to you, man. I said, hey. Yeah. Forefathers from the Netherlands, says Stephanie. Stephanie. I keep saying Stephanie. It's Stephanie. You're welcome, Roger. Okay. Anyway, sounds like a dodgy sushi. What's this? What else I missed? Anyway, so I was asked to share that with you guys. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you did find that interesting. It's my pleasure to tell you a little bit about it. That's how our system works. Look, it's not all original. We took ideas from John Locke and Montesquieu, and the ancient Greek democratic system helped us form the basis for different ideas for laws and our structure of government. But the system set up by our founding fathers was truly ahead of its time, and it is an ideal system. Unfortunately, it's attacked by politically ambitious people who mislead the rubes. I mean, look, I listened to an organic humanity movement, OHM, whatever it is, Lauren Bernardo, who have asked to come on the program. I listened to what I read their platform, and they're talking about having a voting system in which you pick the candidates in an order number 1 through 8, and that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Why do you get to vote multiple times? You don't get to rank order your candidates. That's nonsense. You pick the person you want to be. Now, they are arguing for the same system I've argued for South Africa. You vote for the person, not for the party, to get rid of political parties. I agree. George Washington warned us that political parties were dangerous, and he was correct. Political parties and our two-party system is very dangerous. And I've seen that. I've seen that right here as a candidate running for office, just how corrupt political parties can be. Yep. Yes, probably the best system, but open to subterfuge. Yep, it is. It is open. Well, it's open to subterfuge by the people who control it. That's the problem. Make it more Trumpy. Stock take, huh? Barry Bozeman Janssen. I have no idea what you're talking about that. It's like the founding fathers knew the system would be abused. It's a system that was so bulletproof, even a corrupt president can't ruin it. Well, yes and no. We're still shaking our head about 2020. So, but bear in mind, as Molly Hemingway reported in her book, it's in her book right behind me, Rigged. Yeah, there it is. Molly Hemingway's book, Rigged, How the Media, Big Tech, and Democrats Seized Our Elections. Number 1 bestseller, Molly Hemingway. In her book, Rigged, talks about the 350 plus lawsuits filed by Democrats and leftist political organizations to alter the election laws in this country after Donald Trump won in 2016. Yep. Term limits. Yeah, well, I agree with term limits. In fact, I signed a pledge. Here it is. U.S. term limits pledge right there. Signed that, and then in the campaign, one of my opponents claimed that no one else except him signed term limits, which is nonsense. Probably just didn't know better. Yep. Still stealing. What? Novell, judge asked him in court if he had any say. He said, I should have stolen more. Should have stolen more, he said. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go, folks. Anyway, what else we got here to talk about? So that's a little bit about our political system. Now, the primaries, people are curious about that. What are the primaries? Well, the primaries are so the parties can select their candidate. So a simple way to explain primary is that the state will conduct an election to facilitate the political parties coming up with who their candidate is. Now, I just participated in that process. It's a primary. It's a Republican primary. There was a Democratic primary on the same day, April 23rd. Only registered Republicans could go to vote in the district, who were registered in that district, for candidates. And we had a very small turnout. In 2022, there were almost 11,000, and in ours, there were less than 10,000. There was 12,000. This was a little over 9,000. It was really lame. 5 candidates and a low turnout, less than 10,000. Disappointing, to say the least. That's out of 27,000 registered Republicans. Only about 9,000 showed up. 1 in 3 registered Republicans showed up to vote. It's really sad. In a Republican district. So the primary selects the party's candidate for the general election. And primaries are set up in different dates. And that's why you have Super Tuesday. It's called Super Tuesday because a large number of delegates are handed out there. Now, whoever wins the primary, the states have different rules for primaries than the states do because the parties control that. Political parties control the primaries. They have different rules on allocating delegates. So you get delegates, and the numbers of delegates are all over the place. The number of Republican delegates is lower than the Democrats. They have thousands more. The system is very bizarre. But basically, if you win a state, normally you get the delegates. And that's why Donald Trump is thumping Nikki Haley in the delegate count. So anyway, take care, Mike. Good to see you here. Anyway, so Idaho has their primary this week. We had ours on April 23rd. Super Tuesday was back in March. And once all the primaries are done, the political parties hold conventions. We saw the Democratic Socialists of America convention, point of personal privilege. Stop clapping. You're hurting my ears. Remember that? The Democratic Socialists of America. And then you have the Democratic Party has their convention. The Republican Party has their convention. And all the delegates come there, and then they vote, and they count, and people speak. It's all about politics and get interest in the whole race. And then the nomination is done. Now, they have brokered conventions. There's a possibility that if a candidate didn't get enough votes or no one with a plurality was split, you'd have a brokered convention. There is a possibility that the Democrats could dump Joe Biden at their convention and pick someone else. Yep. And I don't know what's going on with Ohio, but Ohio gave a law that forced the parties to have their convention by a certain date to give their nominee. If they didn't, then they won't be on the ballot. So that's how you get on the ballot. Watch an interview with MK spokesman. They are gunning for two. Oh, they are delusional, Charles. They are delusional. I've talked about that. Yep. Saw an interview with the OHM party here, like many of their ideas. I don't like some of their ideas. That's for darn sure. See how the Democrats have run the USA into the ground this past few years. The intent was not surprising. Yep. Hurting your ears. That was funny. Huh? Oh, so she's Odez's wife. I didn't know that. Well, I probably won't get her on as a guest then, after what Odez did to my channel. I didn't know that was his wife. So his wife is colored. Interesting. Alex Hoffman at ThyssenKrupp. No idea who that is. Yeah, Stephanie. 1/3 of my audience is American. Yep. In fact, let me check on the stats. It's probably down a little bit right now. Yeah, Michael just left here. He's an American. Janet Liddy is an American. There's lots of Americans watch this. Brett Sessoms is an American. Let me just do analytics real quick here and see what we come up with here. Audience. Let's take a look at stats. Okay, so good mix here. 51% of the people watching my content are subscribed and 48% are not subscribed. That means I got a 1 in 2 chance of gaining a new subscriber. That's good news. It used to be 85, so that's improved. So that's what YouTube has taken their knee off my artery and allowing the blood to flow through a little bit better. 80% are male though. That's down. You think there's a lot of women given how many women chat in the chat, but no, it's 80% male according to. In the last 28 days, this is skewed because I've been doing heavy South African election coverage. 83% of my viewers have been South African for the past 28 days, but that's unusual. That's not the norm. Normally, U.S. is much lower. That's because I've had a lot more South. So I haven't had fewer American viewers. I've had a surge in South African viewers because of all the videos I've had here. So subscribe, you mongrels. Yeah. So channels, people that watch my content also watch Morning Shot, Biz News, Newsroom Africa, Quasime, and Citizen Concern. Yep. So, yep. So here's the new one that formats your viewers watch on YouTube. Videos, shorts, and lives. People watch all those from me. That's interesting. So that they didn't have that before. Yep. Huh. Some people are watching subtitles, I guess, because I talk too fast. Yeah, so, yeah, that's what's been going on here. But I can give you some some stats for the lifetime of this channel. If YouTube cooperates, it takes a moment to load up. Here it is, finally. What the heck is this? Okay, there we go. Lifetime of this channel, the new channel, the second channel, 2.8 million views, 315,000 hours of content watched, 15,400 subscribers. So 2,831,875 views. I had 2.5 million on my original channel in 5 months. So a little bit frustrating, But anyway, such is life. But the good news now is my top 10 videos of all time on this channel, every one of them now has at least 25,000 views. So what they do is, your videos perform. I didn't have any for a long time. Let me see. 23. Okay, I had one in 2022 that had 27,000. And that's it. Oh, no, and two. And Cornell University, I had 51,000 on that one. It was 1 minute short. So I had two in 2022 that had that many views. None in 2021. 2021 was a tough year. That's really skewed the numbers here. But most of my videos are from 2023. A lot of them tied to the Rugby World Cup that are top performers. Yep. So anyway, that's yep. Yeah. So let me see over time here. Anyway, that's okay. Lifetime. See, this is why it's been a problem for this channel in the past. Lifetime of all the views, 65% have been from subscribers over the lifetime, which means a loyal audience. 34% have been from new people. But that's changed now. Now I've got that up about 50% because YouTube has taken their knee off of my throat and given me a chance to actually gain subscribers here recently. So, yeah, that changed things. Couldn't follow subtitles. Speaker's Corner. Yeah, Speaker's Corner is interesting. I've been there in Hyde Park. Recipe for balanced news. Fox, CNN, and cut the BS. Go to the Colonel. Thanks, Nick. I can't stream, says Nick. What? So, Arnie, if our lights will go off. Yeah, they will go off. It's just a question of when. She's not colored, says Val. She sure looks colored. Or Arab. But not colored. Now, I know her name, Charles. I know her name. Okay. I'd go with Mauritian. Yeah, I didn't know that was Odez's wife. Okay, well, we'll see if we can get a feedback. I won't hold my breath now. I didn't know that. Yeah. What I find interesting is that people are so fascinated, but that party has, they got on the ballot. They must have got their 15,000 signatures. They're not competing provincially, but they are competing nationally. So congratulations to them. But I don't understand the fascination. They've got no subscribers anywhere. If you do 10 TikTok videos a day and do live streams simultaneously on YouTube, within 30 days you'll have 10 times subscribers guaranteed. No, Pero, I did that. I did 10 TikToks per day. Not that many, but I did multiple TikToks. I covered so many things, and all I did was get censored. I did a live stream, my first ever live stream about Africa on TikTok when I was growing. A year ago, I was growing in TikTok. I went from 340 subscribers to over 10,000, and it stopped like that. And I put video after video after video, and it kept saying, every day I get messages saying, you got these new followers, these new followers, these new followers, these new followers. And every day the number stayed the same. It never changed. TikTok is a corrupt censor platform just like the rest of them. It doesn't grow. It's nonsense. I've done tons of things. Now, I'm not as clever at, turning the videos. I mean, some very clever people on TikTok, but I can't do that on my phone. I find it very annoying to edit video on my phone. It's ridiculous. Do that on a PC. That's what a PC or a Mac is for, to edit video. But the people on TikTok do a fantastic job with that stuff. But no, TikTok just doesn't grow, Pero. It stopped. Let me see how many TikTok views or followers I've got now. I keep getting this. Well, the people like it and they followed you, but every time I go back, the numbers never shift. Last time I looked, it was about 12,000. Let me go to my TikTok account, and I don't put many TikTok videos out there anymore because I didn't like the censorship. It got annoying.
Transfer complete. USS Enterprise now under command of Captain Tony.
Okay. 12,800 followers. 12,800 followers on TikTok. The Wyatt Army. Stop that. There it is. The Wyatt Army. So it doesn't tell me how many videos here. I also don't like the way. So 326 views, 710 views, 582 views, 1,600 views. It's just total nonsense. So if I go back, 7,700 views, But then I go back to last year when I was growing. I mean, so look, these are all videos. Look at this. Look at this. It's not like I haven't put videos in TikTok. This is nonsense. Look at that. Look at that. Those are all, I mean, tons of videos in TikTok. I haven't even gotten back to last year where the real numbers were. 117,000 views on one of my videos. Still going here. 1,000. All my videos were getting at least 1,000 or more. Electric Slide Minister, 5,800 views. London last year. Nick Groves just gave another super chat. Thank you for that, Nick. Open a new can. Starbucks. 15,000, 49,000 views. 18,000 views. That one is from Blood River.
Hello again, folks. This is Chris. I'm here in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa at the site of a momentous battle that took place on the 16th of December, 18th.
So, and then what else we got here? 5,000 views. Still not back to when. Okay, 13,000, 76,000 views, 31,000, 100,000 views, 21,000 views, 11, 135,000 views. Yeah, I did. And it just, nothing came of it. Nothing came of it. And I have videos going still coming up with my videos here. Wow. And then for a long time, I got nowhere. 600 views, 500 views, 140 views. Back when I had the long beard, I was getting no views. Look at that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not convinced of TikTok. So yeah, I go on TikTok when I'm bored late at night, and I send videos of cats and babies to people. When they eat with their hands and talk with the dead all night, then demand what? When the German shareholders came over and fired. Okay, I don't know about that. Okay, don't have TikTok. Wasted time for me. Was a gaming streamer. What games will he be playing? Let's hear the audience think. If I was a gaming streamer, I'm a gamer, but I'm not a gaming streamer. I don't really care for it. The only time I ever streamed gamings was Diablo back in 1990. What was that? 90. When did I got a second. 99. Is it 99? Yeah, 1999, I was at the Command General Staff College for the Combined Armed Services Staff School. And we stayed in the billets, the BOQ, the Basic Officers' Quarters there. And I was teaching at Iowa State at the time, but I drove down and I took my PC with me, as did a number of other people. And we had a really cool staff leader. It was Lieutenant Colonel Daze was his name. And he was really cool. And we would typically have all of our work done by noon or 1 o'clock at the latest, and we had the afternoon to go study or do whatever. We did that, and we got the work done pretty quickly, but Diablo was out, and they had a network inside of the base officers' quarters, and so we set up, and we played, and we gamed. It was like watching, you watch Big Bang Theory when they're all gaming there. But yeah, it's the only time I ever streamed a game. I've never streamed a game. I don't really care to stream. That was really cool. Oh, it can be growing. Yeah, but Diablo, I was incredible in that, man. It was great. Age of Empires, I never streamed Age of Empires. I played Age of Empires, but they ruined the game. It was fantastic, and it got crappy at some point. Yeah, I know TikTok is not promoting me, Erica. That's why I quit putting videos on it. I went to TikTok last year. I didn't abandon YouTube, but in late 2022, when Kerry Lake was all the rage, I did a video on Kerry Lake, and I got 100,000 views. I'm like, wow. And suddenly I went from nothing to hundreds to 1,000 to over 1,000 and just took off. And for 3 weeks in January of last year, my TikTok exploded. And so I just kept putting content up. And then nothing. I got no reward for it. Doesn't matter what I put up, get nobody viewing it. So yeah. So it's stuck at 12,800. So I don't really pursue it any further. So used to do an Ian party with Age of Empires. What is an Ian party? Oh, a LAN party. Sorry, a LAN party. Okay. Asteroids. Yeah, Age of Empires was great, but it wasn't the best game. There was another game. I can't remember the name of it. Gosh, I wish I could remember the game. I used to play this crazily over 20-some years ago. It was basically the medieval period in Europe, in Central Europe, and you're traveling around from place to place, and there's robbers, and there's fights, and there's creatures and stuff, and you had to trade and go into these towns and stuff. I can't remember the name of the game. It was an amazing game. I wish I remembered it. And over the years, because of limited household goods, I get rid of things and throw them out. I wish I'd kept all those games just so I could know which ones they were. But that was an incredible game. I love that game so much. I played it so much. Right now, the only 2 games I'm playing are Total War Medieval 2 and then Hearts of Iron 3. I got Hearts of Iron 3 to play again. It kept crashing on me, but I did get to play again. As an engineer, there's a great game called Satisfactory. Don't know it. Half-Life. Not my thing, sort of thing. I played Asteroids, but that was in vending machines, So anyway, it's my hair there. So right there. There we go. Anyway, yeah. So, folks, why don't we wrap it up here? 101 likes. Wow, some good revenue came in today. 38. So after YouTube takes their cut, that'll go nice. 10 new members. Thank you for that. And wow, 63 people currently here. Thank you all so much on a Tuesday. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, gamers make a lot of money on Twitch and other things, but Twitch is another censorship platform. We play Age. What's this? Water and Valium. Yeah, there was also what was that one? The space thing. I can't remember that, but anyway. All right, you guys take care. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow unless there's some breaking news. Thanks a lot. Tomorrow is Wednesday already. Wow, that's crazy. Just a week away from the election, still no passport. I called and offered to pay extra for expedited service. No guarantee. Probably won't get my passport in time. Oh, we got gifted membership, so I can't leave yet. Valheim. Okay. Oh, that's Valheim is about Vikings. Okay. You mean Valhalla. Play Age of Water and Valheim. Okay, I don't know what that is. Age of Empires. Yep. Oh, I ignored the cheat codes. So that was Lorraine Slabbert got a gift. Who else we got here? Gavin Comer. Congratulations. Shawnee got one too. Okay, waiting for those to come up. Waiting for those to come up. Wandering Turtle got one. Cool. How's it going, Wandering Turtle? Didn't realize you were here. Yeah, I played Doom. Yep, I did play that. Wolfenstein, played that back in the day. Nico now. Spearmen and catapults. No. I have diverse armies. Right now, on the latest version I'm playing, I play the Holy Roman Empire and I've conquered all of Europe. I'm just running into trouble, Shawnee, congratulations, with the Timurids. I've wiped out the Mongols, but now the Timurids are there. So I've already won the game, but I'm playing past that point. All right, that's it, folks. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. Be safe. Don't take any wooden nickels. You know why. Cheers. Thank you very much. Thanks for everything, guys. Bye-bye.